Columbia, talking to you about the SCIO, the EPFX system of Dr. Bill Nelson's, and how it works, how it can work, what the theories are behind it, and the quantum physics, the physics, the electromagnetic theory. How is it possible that we can work on folk from a distance? Well, in quantum physics, one of the earliest theories that came out was that there's no time or space in the wave form, and also that any quanta, which is anything atomic and below, can switch at will from a particle form to a wave form. There was a mathematician in 1865 in France named Fourier who invented the Fourier transform, which can take a geometrical equation and transfer it into a waveform equation, and then back the other way again. So Fourier in 1865 invented this mathematical process, and it's the basis of holographic theory and how they develop holograms. The essence of it all is that at the atomic level, we are all electrical beings. We function in three parameters. In electrical theory, it's called the right-hand rule, where the fields of the voltage, amperage, and resistance are all at 90 degrees to each other. And Dr. Nelson has a patented device that can take a picture, so to speak, of the trivector field, the voltage, amperage, and resistance fields of a element, any element. There's 8,500 of them in the software I'm using, and it's every vitamin, hormone, mineral, constituent element of the blood, bones, you name it. It's all contained in these electromagnetic signatures, so that we send, for instance, the signature of vitamin B1 into your system and measure your response to it. And it's a stress response. So if your body wants it, we'll get a high number. If you've got enough, we'll get a normal number. If it is a bit overloaded, we'll get a low number. And then we can adjust that in the same way that homeopathics will send information into the body, and the body will respond by adjusting, whether it releases something or garners more in. Originally, this was an electronic homeopathic device, and Samuel Hahnemann, who came up with theories of homeopathy 200 years ago in Germany, one of his major sort of different ideas was that there are no diseases, there are only individuals. And even though someone may exhibit the symptoms of a specific disease, they are an individual in their response to it and in how they are managing it, and you need to go in and work with the individual and their immune system and everything else in their body in order to address the issues they are suffering from. When you take everything in your body and turn it into electrical, mathematical formula, everything can be adjusted. A waveform can be balanced. It can be. If you take in the recording studio, somebody slams the door during a take, you can plot that noise, plot a mirror image of it, bring the two images together, and zero the sound. It makes it disappear. We can do that with everything that's going on in your system with EPFX. We can harmonize it. You know that if your brain waves, there's harmonics on them, just like, you know, three-part choruses in a church choir. If the bass tone is more amplified than the harmonies, you're at peace. If the harmonics are more amplified, you're anxious. That's your brain waves. So we can amplify the bass tones of your brain waves and make you feel at peace. And we can do this through your whole system, and ultimately, as with all biofeedback, it's an educational process. Once you learn that you can feel differently, you can get yourself there and feel differently. Feel peaceful, feel happy, not feel painful. Over time, it's a process. Another way of looking at it is that the EPFX allows us to address your software, which is your DNA. And it's been shown lately in scientific studies that DNA is shifted in people by traumatic events, both emotional and physical and mental and everything else you can think of. So we can go in and look at the DNA. Think about if you bought a computer and you never defragged the hard drive and you never reloaded the software, what would start happening after a few years? This button wouldn't work, that would move slowly, everything would start going. That's what happens as we hit middle age. And so we're basically going in and defragging your hard drive and reloading your software. And so we can go in and find the original ideas that are there that stopped functioning and then shift them and bring them back. And it works wonderfully. And you can take things that have happened to folk, for instance, just toxicities, say, from the after effects of chemo that might be causing psoriasis and that sort of a thing all over a person's body, and instruct the body to release the toxins. It sounds overly simple, and why isn't the body doing it itself? Due to fear, anxiety, all the different things that are going on around us. We live in a very complex world. When you think about it, 100 years ago there was no electricity. Now we're surrounded by EMF waves from the cell phones. You know that even the 60 hertz lines in the wall that you run your lamps off of have been shown to deplete your neurotransmitters, your dopamine and oxytocin, which will make you sad and dysfunctional and apathetic. So everything around you, the Wi-Fi, the power lines, the television, the electromagnetic spectrum was empty 100 years ago. There was only the Earth's magnetic field, which isn't as strong as that little battery in your watch, and the odd bit of lightning. Now it's full from the bottom to the top. The entire spectrum of EMF has been jammed up and leased out for all kinds of uses. And it's affecting us. It's stressing us. Our system is totally benign. It's designed, it will not do any harm. It won't even let you work on somebody without their permission. It'll shut itself down. It's extremely sensitive. Anytime we're working on somebody and we get onto the issue that they may be troubled by, the system will alarm, because essentially, in a simple way, this is how it works. If you take 3 old grandfather clocks and wind them all up and stick them on a wooden wall, they will be out of phase. All the pendulums will be swinging out of phase to each other, but then as they sit on the wall for a day or two, it will, due to the resonance between them, they'll all start swinging in phase. And that's essentially how this system works, is that we have in the data bank what a healthy liver, healthy brain waves, healthy constituents in the bones, blood, all these different things. We have what the frequencies are of health. And so we transmit them onto the person, and it pulls an unhealthy frequency towards it to bring it into phase, so that they're operating in phase. And if the person's attached to their struggles, which most of us humans are, it will pull back, and then we'll get an alarm, and I'll have to go shut that down and start again, but alarms just let me know I'm onto the right thing. So that's how it works. We're bringing people into phase with health. You exit a session with an electronic twin of health over your system, gradually pulling you towards it. And the resonance is very strong for about 3 days, and then gradually it diminishes. It depends on how much the person resists. There's 15,000 of them out there in America, 26,000 worldwide right now operating. The Chinese government's ordered 50,000. They're putting the whole country on.